Waldo Politics is now live streaming Just Chatting. Trump picks Vance at the RNC. Where's Waldo? Slots. The result is at KBP 24. Good job, you got 2 equal emojis x2, you won 100 points. Hell yeah. Gamble 100. At KBP 24 dice roll result 3, you got half of the bet back. Win some, you lose some. Oh hi KBP. Ears are bleeding. Been listening to RNC for 25 hours. Oh well, don't do that. That is not suggests. Kanush is on vacation, it seems. Trump is coming out now. Really? He has an ear bandage. I see that.
Oh, hi, hello, how you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the politics with you. How's everybody doing tonight? Hi, KBP, thanks for letting me know. I wasn't really watching that live stream. I didn't think whole Trumpy would be there until Thursday. That's what I heard anyway. I guess I heard wrong. I read that somewheres that he wouldn't be there until Thursday, and that would makes sense. That's like their last day. He's the headliner, you know. But I will start stream a minute early. I can do that. Who says I can't? I can. I'm in charge around here. I run this show. I mean, I like literally run this show. This show is run by me. I've got the RNC over here up on the screen. LOL. And if he goes on talking, we'll hop in there and see what he has to say. But and then we'll cover some of the other politics. I've got a whole bunch of links tonight. Tonight is Monday, so I've got a handful of links and stuff like that to cover and look at, and some stories about J.D. Vance, obviously, because he's been selected today. That'll be fun. So I'll keep my eye on the RNC over here and see if he takes the stage. We'll listen to what he has to say, because that could be interesting because of not only what happened the other day, but because of the thing he said today, which was that he threw out his old speech and made a much nicer, gentler, kinder speech. That is what he told one reporter, that he was going to tear into Joe Brandon and scream a bunch of about how terrible and nightmarish and monstrous the Democrats are. That's what his old speech was, but then he got shot. And now he's going to do a nice, pleasant, calming, relaxing speech. Now, he could be lying, or he could be confused, or saying things that don't make any sense. So we will take a look. We will see if he does that, or if he does what I think he's going to do, which is fire and brimstone.
Was I right? Did he find sense?
He found maybe there is a chance that he has found sense. Maybe I'm not sure.
Check out Waldo's videos. At Waldo Videos.
God, that's worse than Knooch. Okay. Anyway, so it's entirely possible that he got injured, said, "Okay, this isn't the game anymore," and has chosen to dial everything down. Maybe that's a thing. We'll find out here in a few minutes. Maybe. Oh, yeah, there we go. I'm going to start it up. Let me know how the volume is. Volume looks good. Let me bring it down a little bit. Don't copyright me. You know, I can't play music, or else they'll take my stream down. So we'll just watch him for a minute. When he gets closer to the thing, I'll turn it back on so we can hear it. No, I think that song is public domain. I might be able to do that song, but I'm not entirely sure. Music is the devil, and you should never listen to it. You should never listen to it. You should never talk about it. You should never put it on your streams in the background. It is bad, and it is the devil. So music is the devil. Everybody knows this. All right. So thanks for coming. My name is Waldo, and I watch the politics. And then I talk about it sometimes. And today we have a little speech to watch. We'll watch it and we'll see how he does, what he's talking about, what he's thinking, all those fun things. See if we get the sensical one or fire and brimstone. I was expecting fire and brimstone. I was expecting consequences, repercussions, hellfire, spitting flames, breathe the smoke. That's what I was thinking. Is that Tucker Carlson? God, of course it is. A little bootlicker. Tucker Carlson's a news guy. Shouldn't he be talking about the news? Oh, I don't think he's talking. I don't think he's speaking tonight. No, that's what I thought. He's not on the stage. He's just in the crowd.
The next president of the United States.
Okay. Don't copyright me, YouTube. I don't want this music. Okay, that's still going. I don't think he's going to give a speech. That's what I was reading about, is that he was going to give he's the big draw at the end. You show up on Monday, the third string goes, and then on Tuesday and Wednesday you get your middle tier kind of guys. Then you get your JD Vance on Wednesday night or something like that, and then on Thursday you get your hot young newcomer to give the introduction to this guy, and then this guy comes on and everybody's riled up and excited and screams their heads off. So that's what I think is going to happen. They're just clapping. They're not doing anything. He's like, okay, let's get this going. Let's go stay in here and clap for me for so long.
Next to you and
yeah, there we go. More of that amazing, super cool song again and again. So, come on. How's everybody doing? I'm good, thanks. I can't get Knooch to work. She
Playing it extra loud for him.
Yeah, I can't get Knooch to work properly. I restarted my computer an hour ago. Didn't help. Ever since the power outage, whatever setting was telling Knooch what to do has been lost to the ether. And I'm using all the same browsers. I'm using all the same settings, the same websites, all the same equipment, and I haven't changed anything. But
she sounds corrupt.
Yeah, she's been corrupted. I think it's not that she's been corrupted. I think that she's just. I think I changed one of the settings somehow. and it doesn't save and it doesn't carry over. It's just irritating the hell out of me because Canucha is always complicated and difficult, and she's barely ever worked. I probably should get a more sturdy. What are we chanting? USA.
USA.
Please welcome Mark Laws from Cedar Springs,
USA.
Michigan.
Oh, you can't do it again. And then this fight. Oh, dude, they've been doing this all day. Fight, 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 fight. They've been doing that all day. And when you look at it from far enough away, kind of looks like a Nazi rally, you know? They're like, fight, 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 fight. They've been doing that all day.
Fart.
This doesn't happen at the DNC, you guys. It doesn't. I'm going to watch the DNC, and it's not going to happen like this. It's not. It's going to be far less cringe. I mean, it'll be cringe in a different way, I suppose. And then we get to sit down. Thank God. The man was just shot. Let him sit down. Jesus. And this guy's going to fondle his balls for the next hour or so. You waiting? Oh, no, you just pointed at him. You're calling your shot. Yeah, finger guns him.
Good evening, I'm Mark Laws, and I live in Western Michigan.
Rando from W, Michigan.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. That's how the conventions
I'm not a
go.
senator or a governor or some other politician, but I'm just a regular guy. But to my kids and my grandkids who call me Peepaw, I'm the guy. I live on a fixed income, so I'm not one of the people that watch their portfolios. No, in the big boy Joe economy, I just worry about getting through the day. But I'm fortunate because I don't have a mortgage. If I did, I'm really not sure how I'd make it.
He doesn't have a mortgage.
The big boy Joe inflation has turned our dollars into nickels. And in Michigan, we got 180,000 plus people that are in tax lien foreclosure right now. So even though I
Sounds
don't
like a
have
problem with your
mortgage,
capitalism there, boss.
I still got to pay the government to rent my house, and if I don't, they take it away.
That's how taxes work, yes.
When I'm asked how I'm doing, I answer honestly, I say, I'm doing okay. But don't you remember under President Trump, we didn't have to settle for just okay. We were doing great.
No? I mean, it's exactly the same. Has inflation gone up?
I wanted
Yes.
to make
But
some
that doesn't.
improvements to my home, but
It's not
with
because of the government.
inflation
It's because of those
and the price of
companies
materials, that's
that
not
took from you.
possible. So I don't want to go into debt, so I just put it off. I'd also like to spoil my grandkids with some great Peepaw unique gifts for their birthdays. But with the price of gas and groceries, I don't do that.
Sounds
I
like a
settle
problem with
for
your
cake and
capitalism
ice
there,
cream.
Peepaw.
Prices keep going up, but my income stays the same.
Yeah,
I just keep
capitalism.
putting things off, hoping that I'll be able to afford them again someday. It's got me thinking. I've been
I sure
hoping
hope
for
J.D.
better
Vance
days,
didn't call for people to
but life
cut
is
Social
happening
Security
right
several years
now,
ago.
and we
He
can't
did.
waste any
We'll
more
look at that here in a
time
few minutes.
on the
Operation
Big
Big Boy
Boy
Joe is
Joe
in full swing.
terrible economic policies. We need
Yeah,
to bring
well-
Donald Trump back right now.
Big Boy Joe. What? Is that because of the press secretary that said his big boy press conference?
We need to know and share the 20 promises that Donald Trump has made. We need to get involved with the Trump 47.
Yeah.
And you remember, ballots win elections, so that's the best way to do it. I know a lot of folks just kind of tune the politics out, but we really can't afford to anymore because we're not living in the same country that we grew up in.
Yes, you are.
Cutesy time is over.
Cutesy time. Okay.
We
I see how serious we
need
are.
to, all of us, put our shoulder to the wheel and push along and get Mr. Trump, Donald Trump, to be number 47 again.
That's 47.
Thank you, and God bless America.
47. Okay.
Bidenomics doesn't just have seniors worried. It has them
Okay,
scared to death.
We're gonna mute that. We're gonna go talk about the news and the politics and all that fun stuff. If he hops back on, let me know. I can't really see it, but Bidenomics bury the old. No, Bidenomics has power to the old. The older you are, the smarter and more powerful you are. It's a complicated system. That's why he won't bow out. That's why he won't give up, because he's older, and that means he's better. So yeah, that is the RNC. We'll keep watching it. I suspect that he will be back on Thursday. I think that's when Trump's going to be there. So let's look at the links. Let's look at the stuff. Let's check some news. Let's look at some politics. What have we got? We've got AOC says Democrats who resign themselves to fascism should retire. This kind of leadership is functionally useless to the American people, said New York Congresswoman. New York Congresswoman AOC lashed out Sunday night against unnamed senior House Democrat who said party leadership had already come to terms with the idea following the weekend assassination attempt against Donald Trump of the far-right former Republican president winning back in the White House in November. And that doesn't surprise me. We all got online and said, oh my God, he just won, right? I made a video the other day talking about how it's not over yet. Don't give up. AOC is saying exactly the same thing. It's not over yet. Don't give up. There's still a chance. This kind of leadership is functionally useless to the American people. She added, retire. Damn. I don't know who she's talking about. She might know who it is that said this thing. It is an anonymous quote, but there's a chance she knows who it is. What do we got? Despite grave concerns among many Democrats and progressive voters about Biden's ability to defeat Trump, AOC has been outspoken in her defense of Biden in the recent weeks, which is a good call on her part. She needs to convince him to stick around and do some leftism. That's what her position is. My position is to say, hey, Joe, get out. She wants him out too. Of course she does. She wants somebody who's further left. So do I. But she doesn't get to say that because she's playing a game. This is a politics game. So what she's doing is saying, hey, all those people that want you out, Biden, she secretly thinks that too. But she says, hey, stick around and I'll tell you how to win if you do what I say. This is simple politics. This is plain out in the open. Not manipulation, but all politics are manipulation, right? And she'll promise him that, hey, yeah, the kids will totally love it if you stick around and do this thing that I tell you to do, and I tell you is a good idea, and then they will follow me, and I'll tell them all that you're great and cool, and then you'll win. See? Does she think that he should back out? That thought probably exists with her head. How do we get rid of him? How could we replace him? And what happens if we do need to? That kind of stuff. But if she's throwing him under the bus, it doesn't look good. So what she's doing is helping him out from under the bus until he dives under the bus himself on his own, willingly. She's telling him, no, don't fall on that grenade until the last second, in which case you're going to choose to jump on the grenade. Good job. And then we're going to thank him for it. It'll be a whole thing. Let's see. We can actually provide a chart out future that is more learning, leaning into what needs to working people. Great. It is absolutely unacceptable and must be denounced in the strongest terms. My heart goes out to all of the victims, and we wish the former president speedy recovery. Great. Nobody's arguing about that. That doesn't mean, and what that doesn't mean that, damn it, swung and a miss. That doesn't mean that he gets to win. Yes, he's missing part of his ear. That doesn't mean he gets to win. That doesn't mean I'm going to vote for him. It doesn't mean that his ideas are better. It doesn't mean that the things should just be given to him. The Biden campaign shouldn't just give up. Don't just give up. That would be silly. That would be ridiculous. But that's kind of what they saw. They see the writing on the wall, and they suspect that they are not going to win any longer. Republicans immediately seize on Trump's rally shooting to incite more violence. Of course they do, but they are the violent side. Comments blaming Biden on the left for the shooting could lay the groundwork for crackdowns of critics on the right. crackdowns on critics of the right. Congressional Republicans and prominent right-wing figures immediately leapt into action to incite violence against against President Joe Biden, and the left shortly after the shooting during the Donald Trump rally in Pennsylvania on Saturday. Many congressional Republicans began laying blame on their political opponents just before and after the shooting. Man, I'm all over the fucking place tonight. Can't get my head straight. Can't even read. Shots were first reported about 6:10 Eastern Time, just after Trump took the stage at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Yeah, we all already know all this. Around 30 minutes after the shooting, Republican Mike Collins of Georgia tweeted without evidence that Biden sent the orders for the shooting. He later posted that Biden should be prosecuted for inciting an assassination on social media. So this guy incited more violence. He said, hey, Biden did this thing to you, and wants him prosecuted for inciting an assassination. But this guy doesn't want Donald Trump prosecuted for inciting Jan 6th. No. What happens, as usual, is that the Democrat words are considered violence, and Republican violence is considered words. That's how it usually goes, is the Dems say a thing, that's a crime.
I saw the interview about the bullseye comment.
Right. He said a thing, and that means that that's violence. But when Republicans do violence, like on Jan 6th, well, that's nothing. That's not important. Sweep that under the rug. We don't need to talk about that. That's just speech. You know, they were just there for a protest. They were just there to go on a tour. You know, that actual violence is speech. But Democrat speech is violence. As usual, that's the way that they play this game. They push violent things all the time. Donald Trump, everybody remembers him saying, beat the crap out of him. Beat the crap out of him. I'll pay your legal bills if you need to. He said that in the crowd as they were fighting. So he's calling for violence there. He made fun of Paul Pelosi when he got attacked by a lunatic. He has done these things in the past. He pushes violence, and now it's on him. He's upset.
Trump would call to drag protester in the street, and they did.
Right. He called for them to do that, and then it happened. He was instrumental in Jan 6, which was the violent attack on a Capitol, and they sweep that under the rug. You know, he said very fine people on both sides of the Charlottesville march when the Nazis were chanting anti-Semitism and carrying tiki torches. He was on their side. He was defending them because he likes violence when it suits him. There was a protester also that got shot, and then a right-wing protester got shot, and then by a left-wing protester, and then the left-wing protester went home. The next day, they figured out who it was, and the cops rolled up and shot him. They didn't arrest him. And Donald Trump bragged about it. He was like, they got their man. They knew who they were looking for. They rolled up. They jumped right out and they started shooting him. And they didn't ask for any questions. They didn't even try to arrest him. That's what Donald Trump said about the cops just shooting a guy. He loved it. It was great. He loves that shit. He loves violence. He always has. And he will support the violence if it benefits him. But violence that doesn't benefit him is a crime, you see. If you're I think this is the new way that the law will work in America under Donald Trump. If you do a thing to benefit him, it's legal. If you do a thing that's against him, it's illegal. Doesn't matter what the thing is. If it's violence for him, that's great. That's fine. If it's violence against him, crime. If it's speech for him, that's great. That's protected. If it's speech against him, that's a crime. That's what's coming. That is why I keep calling him an authoritarian who's surrounded by fascists. And I'm not going to stop saying that because a kooky person shot his ear off. I'm going to keep saying that. I'm going to keep telling you that he is an authoritarian surrounded by fascists and is part of a cult of personality. What is that? Good Lord. Who is that? She got a face tattoo.
This issue tonight comes from a humble place. The left told me to hate Trump, and even worse, to hate the other side, the people who support him. When you cut through the lies, you realize the truth. American families were better when Donald Trump was president.
Amber Rose.
Easy girl.
Easy girl. Yeah, she is probably some sort of fascist just by looking at her. I'm being 100%. What's the word when you judge people based on how they look? Assuming that she's a fascist. Yeah, I'm just assuming that. And you can cancel me if you want to, but that's my assumption at first glance.
Or, as Trump would say, it's a vote to make America great again. Thank you so much.
Yes, girlfriend.
That's Yee's girlfriend? Oh, well, then she's definitely a Nazi, right? I mean, you don't date Kanye and not support the Nazis. I mean, come on. I'm glad I was right. I didn't know who that was, and I had immediate thoughts and feelings about her.
The one he had all wrapped up.
Oh, the one he had all wrapped up. I don't follow what he does usually unless it's on the politics. If he had her wrapped up, I don't. In like tinfoil, cellophane wrap. What are we talking about? Wrapped up in what? A tarp? I'd wrap her up in a tarp. Oh, okay. I don't know who that was, but she seems awful. What are we talking about? We're looking at the links. We're looking at the stuff.
Cloth, it got weird, yeah, tarp.
Cloth, it got weird, yeah, tarp. Okay. All right. So sorry for that interruption. Representative Mike Collins, yeah, he sucks. Then House Judiciary Committee Republicans also posted a message implying that the shooting was Biden's fault, based on reports of a private call with donors this week in which Biden apparently said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. A common metaphor taken out of context by the right in order to back Biden. So, yeah, people use that kind of language all the time. I was editing last week's video, and I used the term "kill the Department of Education." I was talking about Project 2025 with Thomas last week, and what I said was Trump would kill the Department of Education. Now, did I mean that he would murder all the people there? No, he's going to destroy the department. He's going to liquidate the department. He's going to fire all the people, and he would have killed it. But this type of language happens all the time, and Republicans are bad faith when you argue it. Donald Trump mentioned a bloodbath if he doesn't get reelected. So is he doing the violence there? Yeah, he's doing the same violent language. Donald Trump talks a lot about violent things like that. I remember, I know it was a long time ago, but Sarah Palin on her website had a photo of Hillary's face with a crosshair from a hunting rifle right in front of her, right on her face, as if you were pointing a rifle at her. And
but his correction was worse. Okay, what I meant was crosshairs, Joe B.
Yeah. It's mad. It's stupid. He shouldn't walk back. He shouldn't apologize. He should just roll with it and be like, yeah, of course I said that. Damn right I said it. I'm going to say it again. Put the crosshairs on him. So yeah, that was a thing that Sarah Palin did a long time ago. She had Hillary's face on her website. There was a crosshair over her face, her actual face.
Spotlight.
Oh, he meant spotlight? Anyway, that's what happened. And then the left and the MSNBC and the Democrats all said, you can't put that there. That's calling for violence. And the right said, no, it's not. It's not. This is not what we intended, and you are overreacting, and this is not what we intended. We didn't want her to be shot, and that's not why we put the crosshairs on her face. We did not call for violence. Now they're saying that just using the word crosshairs is calling for violence. They have no... They're bad faith. They're always bad faith. If it's helpful for them to be the victim, they will be the victim. If it's helpful for them to be aggressive, they'll be aggressive. It doesn't matter what they're actually... They don't have a point. They don't have any ethics. They don't have no guidelines or rails. They will just do whatever they want, whenever they want, in any way they want. There's no way to... They're bad faith. They will argue that language is wrong. They'll use that language. You'll point it out. And then they'll say, it's different when we do it. Because they don't have any values. They don't actually care about any of these things. I meant
it like he is hung like a mouse.
Hangman Mike Pence means he's hung like a mouse. That's true. They did call for hanging of Mike Pence. They cheered it. They talked about it a lot. Let's see. So, what else we got? Is there anything else on this one? So, Ohio Republican Senator J.D. Vance, currently the favorite for Trump's vice presidential pick, said that Biden's political rhetoric against Trump led directly to an attempt on Trump's life, in essence saying that the criticism of the right is an incitement to violence. This is the direction that they will go for the next 4 or 5 months, maybe even longer. If you criticize him, you're calling for him to die. That's not what we're doing. I'm calling him a fascist. Yes, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to keep doing it. I'm not going to stop doing it. Donald Trump is an authoritarian surrounded by fascists, and he will lead America toward a fascist place. If hearing that makes you want to be violent, that's your problem, not mine. Because I'm telling you what I'm seeing. I'm telling you what I'm talking about. I'm telling you what I'm thinking. If you hear that and think that I'm calling for violence, that's your fault, not mine. So I'm not going to change what I'm saying. I'm not going to change what I'm talking about. I'm not going to give up on it. I'm not going to be a wiener. The Dems are usually wieners. The central premise of the Biden campaign is that President Donald Trump is an authoritarian fascist. He is, who must be stopped at all costs. He is. Vance wrote on social media, the statement seemingly lays the groundwork for the right to implement crackdowns on political rhetoric from those who criticize Trump and others on the right. So yeah, Trump
One
is...
man's fascist is another man's authoritarian dictator.
Yeah, I know, right? Trump is an authoritarian fascist. Isn't even a claim he necessarily denies. Donald Trump has openly stated his desire to be a dictator in the past and has praised right-wing dictators and despots many times. The radical left will stop at nothing, going so far as to try and assassinate their political opponents. It wasn't a Democrat who did this, said this Florida Republican lady, and then she deleted it when she found out that she was not correct. That's nice of her. And then we've got everybody's favorite, super cool. And then we get, what do we got? Oh, here we go. Maytag, good old Maytag. We're in the battle between good versus evil. The Democrats are the party of pedophiles murdering the innocent unborn, violence and bloody, meaningless, endless wars. They want to lock up their political opponents, terrorize the innocent Americans who would tell the truth about it. The Democrat Party is flat out evil, and yesterday they tried to murder President Trump. Okay, listen, Marge, listen. This is the violent rhetoric that you have been spreading and caused Donald Trump to get shot. You are the cause, Marjorie. You are. We are in a battle between good and evil. There's no such thing. There's just different political ideas. Absolutely madness. Suggesting that someone is evil suggests that you could kill them and it would be okay. She would be okay if they died because they're evil. I mean, they're evil. Who cares? The Democrats are the party of pedophiles. Not true. No facts. And honestly, there's no...
She was the first to speak tonight just so people would forget that she spoke.
Right. So that's nonsense. Donald Trump is really good friends with Epstein, and he made that joke a long time ago. He likes him young, a lot younger than me, Donald Trump said, because he knew that Epstein was a PDF file. Murdering the innocent unborn, nonsense. That's not true. Violence and bloody, meaningless, endless wars. It was... Christ almighty, you couldn't get any more wrong I don't think you can pack any more wrong into a sentence. Maytag, Marge, honey, listen. Republicans started those wars. And then that long, endless, bloody war, if you complained about it in 2004, if I said in 2004, hey, I don't think we should be doing that to Iraq and Afghanistan, I was called a commie and a traitor, and they yelled at me, and they called me a weak-kneed...
Adobe is a bunch of PDL.
And they called me a bunch of names. We renamed French fries to freedom fries under a Republican president because the French didn't want to follow us into this long, bloody, meaningless, endless war. March. The French didn't want to follow us into that endless war. They didn't see a way to win, and so Republicans renamed French fries to freedom fries. If I complained about it in 2004, 2005, 2006, as I did, saying, hey, this isn't working, we shouldn't be here, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't be burning all this money in a country with no exit strategy, no plans, I was called a commie. I was called all kinds of names because I didn't support those wars that you now don't support. The Republicans hate war now. It's insane. They hate all the past wars. They love all the future ones. I don't know how brains work for Marjorie Taylor Greene. Republicans were the ones pushing that war. It was, what's his name? Sean the Surge is Working Hannity, who talked about it every single night on primetime news. And every complaint I ever had about that damn Iraq and Afghanistan, he would defend constantly because that was the Republican position. They have changed that position because they have no values. I'm still against the Iraq war. I was against it pretty early on, not immediately, because I thought there was something going on. But when I saw it went bad, I said, hey, this is a bad idea. We should stop doing that. And I'm still against it now. They will flip-flop as necessary to get the goal, to get the talking point that they want. So now she's anti-war, and especially endless wars. The reason Obama didn't end the Afghanistan war is because it would end badly. It would be political suicide to end the Afghanistan war. He knew that, so he didn't do it because he's a wiener. Donald Trump did not end the Afghanistan war because it would be political suicide for him to do so. And he didn't want to commit political suicide, so he didn't end it. Joe Biden ended the Afghanistan war. Marge, do you not remember that? Do you not remember screaming at him for ending it? I'm quite sure she did. I'm quite sure she was very, very angry that he ended the meaningless, bloody, violent, endless war. She was mad when he did it. And now she blames him for starting it. Madness. This woman has no grip on reality. She has no idea what is real and what isn't. She has imagination and feelings. Tell me this isn't reek of feelings. This is feelings top to bottom. Good and evil, that's a feeling. Pedophile, that's not true, but she believes it to be true. That's a feeling. She feels a certain way about abortion. She feels bad about these endless wars. Lock up the political opponents. She's ignoring the fact that that's what Donald Trump does and promises to do, and is actually a criminal that gets investigated by the DOJ. So she ignores that because it's unpleasant for her feelings. Terrorizing Americans who would tell the truth about it. Feelings. And Democrat Party is flat out evil. Yesterday they tried to murder President Trump. That's all feelings all day long. That is all she has. That is all she's ever had. Facts don't care about your feelings is a stupid phrase that they use incorrectly because all they have is feelings. Feelings is all they have. That's what it should be. That's the actual message that the Republicans ought to say is feelings is all we have. And I'm willing to say that all politics are based on feelings. They're based on feelings. You have a feeling for a certain way, and then you can find evidence and data and direction and come up with a plan. But you got to have that feeling first. You got to have that motivation. You got to have that start point. You got to have that, hey, we need to do this thing. That's a feeling. She doesn't know that there is anything other than her feelings. So let's check in on the big show. The big show. No, some thumb talking. Let's see what he's got.
Are among elected officials who truly care about working people. And this group is expanding and is putting fear into those who have monopolized our very broken system in America today. There are far too many people on both
Teamsters?
sides.
Why is he there? That's a union. That's weird. All right. I hope all the Teamsters don't follow him. That's not good. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this one is a brief history of Trump and violence. The assassin's bullet that grazed Donald Trump's ear thankfully missed the mark, but that can't be allowed to erase the long, ugly history of Trump's dalliance with violence. Exactly. This is just mentions a lot of the things that I mentioned earlier, that he always often pushes violence at his stuff. This is the most...
Railroad got railroaded of strikes.
Railroad got railroaded of strikes. I think Biden did an okay job with the railroad. At first we were mad at him, but then his negotiation caused them to come back to the negotiating table, and the railroad workers got something, which isn't a bad thing, but it could have been good. It could have been better. Not entirely sure why the Teamsters would support Donald Trump. He's definitely anti-union. He is not going to help them at all. This is the important sentence right here. To be absolutely clear. Christ almighty, dude, I cannot talk tonight. You ever have a day when you just can't get the boss? To be absolutely clear, there is no politician in America today who has done more to stoke political violence than Donald Trump. And that is true today as it was before the attempt on his life. This is the important bit. This is the sentence. He has stoked the violence, and it has come to get him. This is not good. Donald Trump has gloried in language of political violence for the better part of a decade, demonizing his political enemies and taking politics up to and beyond the boiling point. This is the candidate who presided over the Nuremberg-style rallies in 2016, which they kind of look like today with the fight, during which he encouraged his supporters to chant that Hillary Clinton should be locked up, and they didn't push back when some advisors and supporters took the next step and urged that she be executed. He said that they were very fine people in Charlottesville. This is a political leader who mused about finding ways to shoot would-be immigrants in the legs or feed them to alligators as they tried to cross the southern border to the United States. That's the other one. Yeah, the southern border is going to be absolutely covered in blood if he's left in charge of it. He wants the military on the border. What does the military do? Properly organize violence. That's what they do. What are they going to do with their arms and their guns and their bombs while sitting at that border? Well, they're going to point them at the people who would be coming over. And that will scare them if we're lucky. And if it doesn't, they will get shot. Violence is what he calls for. Violence is his tool. Violence is the paintbrush with which he paints the MAGA movement. And now he's complaining about it? No, nonsense. You don't get to do both. And that's why I will still continue to call him an authoritarian surrounded by fascists. Let's see. This is the demagogue who, for political advantage at the height of the pandemic, whipped up angry mobs against public health officers and then refused to condemn those mobs when they picketed officials' homes and workplaces, often heavily armed, frequently with exhortations to hang the medics for their advice on social distancing, on closing schools and businesses, or on mask and vaccine mandates. I've interviewed some of the public health officials in Washington State and Northern California. Years later, they still bear the trauma of these attacks and still feel betrayed by the fact that under Donald Trump, the federal government stood by silently as vicious mobs took to the streets against them. He refused to call off the dogs on January 6th. Yeah, that was the big one. Lots of violence that day. And he still supports them. You know, he still promises to pardon them and put them into government jobs once they're pardoned and stuff like that. And then what have we got? We've got this one. Far-right extremists call for the violence and war after Trump shooting. They should all be hung in the streets. One person wrote of Democrats, the media, and others. War now, another wrote. So this is just, you can go and you can find regular people. These aren't House members or senators or anything like that. This is just regular doofuses on the internet, and those regular doofuses really do want war, as they say right here. Let's give it to them. Civil fucking war, they say. I'm ready for this. This is my last damn straw. I'm done with this fucking shit from the Democrats. They've been trying to take this guy out since he's been in office. War now. They don't want to live and let live. It wasn't the left that shot him. It wasn't. Unlike the messaging in the aftermath of the attacks and at the Cincinnati FBI field office on Paul Pelosi, there is a concerted effort to present this as the consequence of far left-wing rhetoric around Trump and fascism. Yeah. Those are all just goobers. And we got Marjorie Taylor Greene accepting it and pushing it and making it worse. This won't go well for them. And I really do think there's more violence ahead. There is more ahead. There will be retaliation from both sides, I think. Well, I think the right's going to do a bit of retaliation soon-ish. And if Donald Trump wins, we will get institutional violence. If Donald Trump loses, we'll get chaotic violence, similar to Jan 6th. Again, something similar will happen, very similar to what it was before, if he loses again. If he wins, then we get the institutional violence of him creating the SS and getting rid of all the, pardoning all the Jan 6 people, giving them cool brown matching uniforms and putting them to work, and extending immunity over them. And if they get in trouble for doing things like breaking the law or infringing on your rights, he will simply pardon them. And there will be nothing to stop him from doing so. And that will be the world that we live in. Just whoever the president is, if it's a right-wing person, they will create their own little death squad. They will create their own little SS. And when the Dem comes in, they'll complain about it. And they'll say how we need to fix it. And they'll only have 59 senators and 217 votes in the House, so nothing will change. And then they'll complain about it and promise not to use it themselves, and they won't. And then the right will win again after that, because they're wieners. The Dems are wieners, so the right will win after that. And then they'll create another SS, another little brown shirt unit. It'll be fun. It'll be great. It'll be the chaos that we get to live in from now on. Let's see. The Supreme Court is gaslighting us all. I think so, too. This makes sense. In his majority opinion in the case about presidential immunity, Chief Justice John Roberts mocked the 3 liberal dissenters for striking a tone of chilling doom that is wholly disproportionate to what the court actually does today. Reality check: the immunity ruling, which gave President carte blanche to break most criminal laws when carrying out their official duties, is not grounded in any clause of the Constitution. It went far beyond what even the most pessimistic court observers expected. The dissenters, if anything, responded with restraint. During oral arguments in this case that pitted Idaho's near-total abortion ban against the federally guaranteed right of a woman to end her pregnancy if necessary to stabilize a dire medical crisis, Alito dismissed the government's concerns. Nobody's suggesting that the woman is not an individual and she doesn't deserve stabilization. Nobody's suggesting that. Reality check: that is precisely what Idaho was suggesting. That is exactly what Idaho was suggesting by arguing that the federal law doesn't preempt the state ban. So, again, they're lying right to your face. These SCOTUS judges are lying directly to your face. Or take the Chief Justice again, writing for the courts in upholding a federal law that prohibits domestic abusers from possessing guns. Federal Appeals Court has struck down the law as unconstitutional. Some courts have misunderstood the methodology of our recent Second Amendment cases. These precedents were not meant to suggest a law trapped in amber. Were not meant to suggest a law trapped in amber. Well, the lower court was following the letter of the Supreme Court ruling from 2 years ago, which held that any gun law without an almost exact analog from the founding era, like laws that apply to domestic abusers, is unconstitutional. Yeah, so they just make it up. They jump back and forth between what is and isn't historical, and historical precedent. Historical precedent is decided at a whim by the conservatives on the court. Behavior like this has a name: gaslighting, a form of psychological manipulation that involves making people doubt their own accurate perception of reality. If the term has gotten a workout in recent years, that's because of a lot of people are engaging in it. The right-wing justices have become masters of that form, telling the American people again and again, do not believe what they see with their own eyes. This is what the Supreme Court does. This is what they're doing now. This is what conservatives usually do. We watched them do it about violence in Donald Trump. This is what the conservatives on the Supreme Court are doing. They are lying to you about what's happening. They are changing the law and telling you it's fine and nothing is going wrong, and this is the way the law has always been. They're not originalists. They're not textualists. They're making things up based on their preferred political outcome. And they're choosing, handpicking which cases to take if they think that if they take this case, it could lead to...
Teamster ended with fight like hell. Now abductions with a Trump impersonator.
Oh, that sounds awful. Yeah, Teamsters. I don't know why the union would back him. He is going to cut unions. Like, he's absolutely going to cut the power of unions. Teamsters, sorry. Your union's going to die if Donald Trump wins, and it's going to be your fault. So, what else we got? Here we go. Federal judge dismisses Trump's classified documents case over concerns with prosecutor's appointment. No surprise here. We all saw this coming. Sorry, they were yelling about the dogs. Bobo might be up here in a minute. He might be. Washington, a federal judge in Florida dismissed a classified documents case against Trump on Monday, siding with the defense lawyers who said the special counsel who filed the charges was illegally appointed by the Justice Department.
So immune, very immune. Nobody has been this immune.
Exactly. They made a decision. Oh, come here, Bobo. Oh, why is he wet?
Because he was playing with the water outside.
He was playing in the water. All right.
And he's in my way, so.
Let's
Bobo.
take a Bobo bark boy break. Hello, Bobo. How are you? You want to say hello to the people? No? You don't care about the people? Look at the camera. See? He doesn't see the camera. He doesn't know what a camera is.
I missed you.
Yeah. KBP missed you. He's wet right now because he's been outside playing in the hose, in the water. He got the hose again. All right, let's see if he can see him run off. Are you just gonna stay there? Usually you run off, yeah. Okay. And he's gone. Bobo bark break. Anywho, we were talking about the politics, not the puppy dogs. My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the puppy dogs with you. That would be a better stream, wouldn't it? It would be much less miserable. Puppy dog stream. I only have to change the name from politics to puppy dog. I think I could do that. That would work out pretty well.
Dogs are political.
All dogs are political. It's true. So yeah, he's immune. He's going to keep being immune, and they don't care. This is what the Supreme Court wanted. They cannot allow a conservative to be harmed by the law. So they changed the law. They don't care about the precedent of it. They don't care about what came before. They don't care what comes after. They do not care. They cannot allow a Republican insider to be harmed by the law. So they will abandon it. They'll get rid of it. Cancel the whole damn thing. Close up all the law books. Fire every lawyer in the country and get rid of law if it demands that Donald Trump be held responsible. That is what they want for you. That is what they want for the country. That is what they are going to bring all of us. Rule by conservative feelings.
We getting multicultural at the RNC.
Are they getting, did they get some DEI? Oh no. Oops, where's the button? There's the button. She looked mad. That girl looked mad, didn't she? She looked angry.
तुम्हारी गत मित तुम ही जानी नानक दास सदा कुर्बानी.
Dear Waheguru, our one true God, we thank you for creating America as a unique haven on this earth where all people are free to worship according to their faith. We seek your blessings and guidance.
Okay. Wokeism has got to stop. What else we got? Oh, look. It's J.D. Vance. Look at him. What a cool guy, right? So Donald Trump chose a new vice president. It's J.D. Vance. Why did he need to choose a new vice president, you guys? Why did he need a new one? I thought he had one already. Maybe because your supporters wanted to hang him for doing the job and following the law. So you can't do your job properly and follow the law while working for Donald Trump. You can't. If you do that, his supporters will call you for you to die. That's what will happen. So he found someone who won't follow the law and will do whatever Donald Trump tells him to do. That's where we get Mr. J.D. Vance. The dark worldview of Trump's choice for vice president explained. So let's learn a little bit about him. I think he's a terrible tech bro who's a nightmare, who has no values, and so he will go really well in Trump's campaign. It'll go really well. Let's see. His worldview is fundamentally incompatible with the basic principles of American democracy. Bam! Right off the bat. Fundamentally incompatible with the basic principles of American democracy. Damn. Vance has said that had he been vice president in 2020, he would have carried out Trump's scheme for the vice president to overturn the election results. He raised 4 Jan 6 rioters. He once called the Justice Department to open a criminal investigation into a Washington Post columnist who penned a critical piece about Donald Trump. So, Jan 6th, according to this guy, January 6th was not a problem. It was not violence. It was just speech. But also, according to this guy, a thing written in the newspaper is not speech. It is, in fact, violence. Where have we been hearing about that lately?
He also had many words against Trump.
Yeah, he did. We'll get to that. But where do we keep running into this? Again and again, they keep doing the same thing. Republican violence is just speech, and Democrat speech is violence. That is the new norm. That's the new bumper sticker. That's the new party line. Democrat speech is violence. Republican violence is speech. And needs to be protected. That is the thing. I'm going to turn that into a short. According to J.D. Vance, Republican violence is speech and needs to be protected, but Democrat speech is violence and needs to be prosecuted. It's a good short, I think. That's why you can't trust J.D. Vance. He does not respect the First Amendment at all, in any way, shape, or form. He only respects it when it benefits him. Respecting the First Amendment is good for J.D. Vance when you're a Republican saying Republican things. But if you're a Democrat saying Democrat things and complaining about those Republicans, prosecution. Government should crack down on you. He does not respect the First Amendment. And if you think that the First Amendment is important, you cannot support J.D. Vance. You can't. But again, conservatives generally don't have principles. They just have a will to power. After last week's assassination attempt on Trump, he attempted to whitewash his radicalism by blaming the shooting on Democrats. His worldview translates to a very aggressive agenda for a second Trump presidency. In a podcast, he said that Trump should fire every single mid-level bureaucrat in the United States government, hundreds of thousands of people. The government would cease to function and replace them with our people. You see, throw out that dirty swamp and replace it with Trump brand swamp water. And that way, everything will go well for us. If the courts attempt to stop this, Vance said Trump should simply ignore the law. He said Trump should ignore the law. Law and order Republicans want Trump to ignore the law when it benefits them. They don't care about the law. The law is to protect themselves and harm their enemies. That is what they want the law to do. You stand before the country like Andrew Jackson did and say the Chief Justice has been made his ruling, now let him enforce it. That probably didn't actually happen, but the history is real. For most Americans, this history is a deep source of shame. An authoritarian president trampling on the rule of law to commit atrocities. For Vance, it is a well of inspiration. So they're describing President Jackson doing this thing and ignoring the ruling of the court. And then the end result was the ethnic cleansing of about 60,000 Native Americans. And an event we now call the Trail of Tears. That's a bad thing, boss. Listen, the Trail of Tears was a bad thing, J.D. Vance. We shouldn't try to recreate it. We shouldn't do it now with illegal Mexican people. We shouldn't do it now with trans people. But J.D. Vance would support that. He would. Because he doesn't care. He doesn't have any principles. He doesn't have any values. He has only spite and a list of people that he wants to spite. He wants to smite. J.D. Vance is a man who believes that the current government is so corrupt and that radical, even authoritarian steps are justified in response. He sees himself as the avatar of America's virtuous people. Those political enemies and our interlopers, scarcely worthy of respect. He is a man of the law who believes the president is above it. He is a man of the law who believes the president is above it. That's insane. How could you do that? The authoritarian wing of the authoritarian party. So he's an authoritarian even among the Republicans. He wasn't always like this. He grew up poor in Middletown, Ohio, but then he wrote a fucking book called Hillbilly Elegy where he made up a bunch of stuff and made it seem like people are in poverty because of the government. Madness, insanity. I argue with Thomas this past weekend about the government paying people to go to college, paying for people to go to college, how that doesn't cause the problem. Conservatives love this idea that the government giving you things makes you poorer. Madness. It's the companies stealing your money that makes you poorer, or raising your prices, or forcing you to get these things. Anywho, in 2016, he wrote, "Mr. Trump is unfit for our nation's highest office," and compared him to America's Hitler. I think I have that. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Dang it. Oh, wait, I can actually just click it, I think. Nope, I don't want to click backward. No, not that one. Damn it. I had all these things set up before I tried to restart the computer to get Canooch back, and I messed it all up. Oh, no, open in a new window, you idiot. Come on, come on. I'm confusing the hell out of my browser now. It's got to load up all the ads again. Open in a new tab. There we go. I wanted to read this one. Direct quote from J.D. Vance. "I go back and forth between thinking Trump is a cynical asshole like Nixon who wouldn't be that bad, and it might even prove useful. Useful for what? Or that he's America's Hitler. How's that for discouraging?" So, yeah, he compared him to America's Hitler, but I'm the one, apparently, causing violent language, and I need to be careful about the violent language that I use. He called Trump American Hitler. He's now the vice president.
What, it's over? No Trump, not a single word, just pumping his fist.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. That's what I figured. That's why I was not going to watch it tonight. But then you told me he was there, and I had to go check it, and that's not a surprise. That's fine. It was just a big deal today because he's got that thing on his ear. It's fine. So, yeah. J.D. Vance, maybe you want to curtail and rein in that violent language that you got going on there, boss. Calling Trump America's Hitler is probably not going to help with all this violence going around, Mr. Vance. 8 years later, Vance was metamorphosized into something else entirely. Today, he pitches himself as an economic populist that co-sponsors legislation with Warren. In an even more extreme shift, he has morphed into one of Trump's leading champions in the Senate, backing the former president to the hilt, and even at times outpacing him in anti-democratic fervor, because he has no values. He has no side. He has only the will to power. If he has to say, "Let's do this thing, Senator Warren," and get it done, and it gives him more power, that's what he'll do. If tomorrow he has to shit on Warren to get more power, that's what he'll do. He doesn't care. He has no values. He has no principles. The right wing, especially the far right, like J.D. Vance, do not care if they are hypocritical. They don't mind doing so. If the thing that they need to do tomorrow to win is the opposite of the thing they needed to do yesterday to win, they'll do it. They don't care. They will move on without it, without a doubt. Let's see. This is the important part. I read this one earlier and I liked it. The through line between former JD and current JD is anger. The Trump turn can be understood as a lock-in on contempt as the answer to anger. Anger, that's the important bit. Spite, this is what I keep talking about. J.D. Vance does not have principles. He has spite. He is spiteful towards the Democrats. He is spiteful towards the left. He is spiteful towards the people he doesn't like. There are people in this country, left-leaning, single people, single mothers, anybody with blue hair, anybody with pronouns, He is spiteful towards them because he doesn't like them. He doesn't want them to be in charge. He doesn't want them to be recognized as humans. He does not want them in his country. He is spiteful towards them. Let's see. What do we got? Friends.
I was thinking if he took the stage it would be like the scene from Star Wars when Palpatine take power, so this is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause.
I mean, he'll get some thunderous applause for sure on Thursday when I suspect that he will be up there, and I'll watch what he says if we've got our Palpatine moment or not, or if he really does come to his senses and calm everything down, try and chill everything out. If he does that, I think he absolutely wins. If he chills out over the next 4 months, he's fucking won. He really has. And then he can do his Palpatine moment after that. Maybe.
100.
Because I told him that plan on this past Sunday, on yesterday, I told him the plan. That I gave him that plan. Donald Trump watches this show a lot. He's hiding in chat right now. He doesn't chat because he's too big of a cool guy. He doesn't chat. He doesn't want his name to come up here. He's letting me stand on my own, you know. But he watches, and he knows that I had the right plan yesterday. I told him everything that he could do to win and everything he could do to lose, and now he's taking my advice. It's very smart of him. I'm a very smart guy. What else have we got? So let's see about Mr. J.D. Vance. We got him here. How an Ohio senator's stunt proves that Trump dictatorship theory. So this one is great. This is the journalist that typed a thing in a story and published it in a newspaper. J.D. Vance wants them prosecuted and held legally responsible for the words they said. Senator J.D. Vance wants Attorney General Merrick Garland to investigate my colleague Robert Kagan for allegedly inciting insurrection with his recent essay warning of the increasingly inevitable dangers of dictatorship under Donald Trump. We're going to skip this a little bit. Under ordinary circumstances, that is to say, circumstances in which Trump's reelection were not a serious possibility, Vance's missive would be dismissible for what it is, a preening, Trump-toadying stunt. No sane Justice Department would take any action other than tossing Vance's letter in the trash. No sane State Department would touch Newland's clearance. In this current climate, however, the stunt must be taken seriously as a preview of what life under Donald Trump's presidency, or to use Kagan's term, Trump's dictatorship, might entail. Because we know, not from Kagan, but from Trump himself, along with the constitutionally illiterate enablers, that this is just the kind of abuse of power they can contemplate in a second Trump term. Kagan's anguished plea and his follow-up essay this week about the need for the country to confront the clear and present danger to democracy. Vance seized on the sentences about resistance could come from the governors of predominantly Democratic states, such as California and New York, through the form of nullification. So this very boring news person wrote a story, cringe, gross, horrible, who writes things, honestly. The real cool kids look into a camera and tell you how they feel. But this is an old man, so he wrote it down, published it in a newspaper like a grandpa. But what he published was resistance could come from the governors of predominantly Democratic states, such as California and New York, through the form of nullification. So the states would reject the federal power. That sounds like states' rights to me. It sounds like the things that Republicans push all the time. States' rights, states' rights. They talk about states' rights all the time, except if it's Democrat states doing Democrat things against a Republican president. Then those state rights are gone. No states' rights for that. That's not states' rights. States' rights is when the Republicans get what they want. That's states' rights, you see. There's a difference. Let's keep reading. Vance used the argument to make what I'm sure he thought was a clever point about the Justice Department's supposed overreach in charging Trump with trying to overturn the 2020 election. Senator Vance slams left-wing journalists for encouraging insurrection against the potential Trump administration. I think, let's see. I read something good down here earlier. Okay, so this is the Vance analogy. Such as it is, a defeated candidate accused of pressuring state officials, that's Trump, to subvert election results in Georgia, scheming to submit slates of false electors, and strong-arming his vice president to refrain from performing his constitutionally prescribed role. This person is on par with a historian and an opinion columnist and the institution that publishes them, performing their constitutionally protected roles. So this is, again, the thing that I said. Democrat words are violence. Republican violence is speech. That is what J.D. Vance will bring you. And we have evidence for it, and not just me feeling it. And I think that's all we've got there. So if you're watching, if you're paying attention, hop in the chat, give us a thumbs up, give us a follow, give us a like, press the thumbs up button, press all the cool buttons. You can hop into the Discord to share.
Discord. Discord BNJETRYTX8.
Hop in there, tell us what to talk about, and we'll talk about it, and I'll bring it up on screen, and you can tell me how you feel. It'll be a good time. Bad news, Elon Musk has said he's committing around $45 million a month to the new pro-Trump super PAC. He could change $45 million a month for 4 months. That's 90 plus 90 is $180 million. So he's going to just dump $180 million. Couldn't, we tax him some more? If he's got 180 to waste, he's not paying enough taxes. I'm being completely, totally socialist, super duper left wing here. He's not paying enough taxes. He's not. And why is he going to drop that $180 million is because he's worried that the United States government will make him pay $1 million in taxes. Honestly, that's usually how it goes. He doesn't want to pay taxes, so he just dumps 10 times that amount into a right-wing candidate who's going to make your life worse, my life worse. That is why we can't have nice things in our country. That's why we're broken, is because capitalism has run amok. This is capitalism running amok. The richest man in the world is going to dump $45 million a month to get the political outcome that he wants. And the person then elected will be in debt to Elon and will have to, and be expected to do things to benefit Elon. And Donald Trump will gladly do that. He will happily bend the law so that Elon can make more money. This is capitalism run amok. There's no way around it. This is absolutely a person buying an election. This ought to be illegal. And most people are never even going to notice. Nobody's ever going to think about it. Nobody's going to talk about it. Nobody's going to pay attention because it's just normal now. It ought to be illegal. It ought to be a gigantic, nightmarish court case that strips Elon Musk of billions of dollars because of his clearly obvious use of money to accomplish the political goal. He's bribing Donald Trump, but that's allowed now. It's fine. It's cool. We invented super PACs and you can just bribe all day long and nobody cares. This is why I complain about capitalism all the time. It's killing you and it's killing me, but we all just have to roll with it. Here's some funnies. Let's watch J.D. Vance squirm a little bit.
It's an evolution, and I know you've been asked about this before, about past comments that you've made about Donald Trump. You've said, I'm a never Trump guy, never liked him, terrible candidate, idiot if you voted for him, might be America's Hitler, might be a cynical a-hole, cultural heroine, noxious and reprehensible. Those are things that this is an evolution.
Cultural heroine. Oh, he's an opiate of the masses. J.D. Vance knows what he's talking about. And he's come out, he's just as cynical as I am. But he's come out on the, oh, nothing matters?
Ouch.
Oh, okay, nothing matters. So I'll just get mine and wreck everybody else on my way up. That is what he has come to. I'm cynical, and I've decided that we should all band together and try and stick this out and do the best we can for all the people. That's what my cynicism led me to. His cynicism led him to be the main character from American Psycho. We are not the same. I'm cynical and want to help everybody. He's cynical and wants to ruin everybody else's day for him to get a little bit more power. Ugh. So let's see what else he had to say, because I got a couple more funnies, I think, over here. What do we got? There we go. J.D. Vance. As a parent of young children and a nationalist who worries about America's low fertility, I can say with confidence that daylight savings time reduces fertility by at least 10%. I don't know if this is a joke, because he said he's a nationalist, which isn't a good thing. Don't be a nationalist. Hey, anybody who's listening, don't be a nationalist. It's a bad time. It's not good. So he is one, yeah. But he's a parent of young children. I don't know if this is a joke or not. That's the trouble. Is sometimes the far right authoritarian Nazi guys make a joke and you're not sure whether or not they're joking. So this is dumb and stupid and silly. So we're going to close that. What else do we got over here? Hey, look, here we go. Trump VP J.D. Vance supported cutting Social Security in an old blog post. When we started this stream, there was P-Pop. Remember at the very beginning of the stream was a guy named P-Pop who was talking at the RNC, and he said, I support Donald Trump because he's not going to cut Social Security. Yes, they are. P-Pop, listen, I got bad news for you. The Republicans are going to cut your Social Security. They always wanted to. They want to put it on the market. Hell, that was George W. Bush's idea, is to put that shit.
You think it'd be worse than Trump if the old man it?
You think it'd be worse than Trump if the old man cut it? That was George W. Bush's idea, is to take Medicare and Social Security and stuff like that and put it into the stock market, and then the stock market would make it better. Nah, man, the stock market would not make that better. The stock market would have people short it somehow. The stock market is filled with criminals and manipulative monsters who will murder everything they can to get more money. So that's what they would do, is they would come up with some sort of scheme where they would take all the money from Social Security and keep it, and then it would collapse, being empty. They would rob the whole thing. The pensions. Yeah, like the pensions. They would have taken all the money they could, because that's their job, and then left everybody high and dry, and there would be no more. And then they would say, oh, well, you know what? Sorry. Guess that sucks. That's just how the system goes. That's how capitalism works. And they would blame it on the Democrats somehow for not letting them, for not stopping them. It would be the Democrats' fault for not stopping George W. Bush from putting out all of your Social Security on the stock market. Because when the Republicans do something bad, it's the Democrats' fault for letting them do it. That's how American politics works. Let's see. So yeah, he started in 2009, 2012. I ran a small political website under the pseudonym J.D. Vance. Published his first articles with me. I kept it secret until Vance revealed it himself in 2022. Tomorrow, Paul Ryan will release his highly anticipated budget plan. Early reports suggest that, along with the serious changes to Social Security and Medicare, the budget will trim nearly $4 trillion from the 10-year budget deficit. I don't know how the left will react, but I'm confident that they will overreact. And I'm hoping that when the dust settles, we're having a more intelligent conversation about spending cuts than we had in my lifetime. The political obstacles intimidate more than the practical problems. The party of limited government, the Republican Party, is also the party of the aging white person. The party's only solid constituency thus depends on the Medicare and Social Security benefits that are the largest roadblocks to any kind of real fiscal sanity. He wants to cut these things, but he knows that he can't, because most of his voters are aging white people. Trump's pick of Vance, who also has a record of wanting to cut Social Security, may not reassure voters who are depending on a return on what they paid into the system. Voters beware. So yeah, that is not a surprise. We know that. We knew that about them. This is a thing Republicans have wanted for a while. They want to limit the amount of money going out of the government to make it balanced, and they want to limit the amount of money coming in because they don't want to pay it, and their donors and their followers, and Elon Musk doesn't want to pay taxes. So they don't want a government. They don't. They don't want it. They want it to be so small that it doesn't do anything. And part of the reason they push for states' rights is because they have the capability of just moving to a different state. Follow me here, the federal government is cut down to almost nothing because of the Republicans. Each state would set up its own rules and its own regulations and do its own thing and do its own taxes, stuff like that. Great. Okay. Republicans will just move to the one that benefits them the most. The rich people will go where it benefits them the most. Regular people don't have that authority. They don't have that power. They don't have money to burn moving across the country to a state that's slightly better for them. They don't. And if you're in the South or something like that, and you don't like the fact that your civil rights have been taken away by the state, you can't leave because you're poor and you have nowhere to go. And you can't get a job in this new state, and the new state has rules, and they all put up walls. This is balkanization. This is not good. This is not united. This is 50 little fiefdoms with 50 different sets of rules. Some of them are decent, and a lot of them, the ones in the South, the red states, are going to be nightmares of poverty, pain, violence, and religious oppression, oppressing the people with religion. That is what will happen if we get too much states' rights and not enough federal power. That's why I don't support the Republican states' rights. I don't even think they do that with. They also do that make that argument in bad faith because they don't want states' rights. They just want Republican power. Whew. Well, that tongue-tied mess is all I have tonight. That's all the links I have tonight. I'm not getting any viewers, honestly, today. I don't think Monday night's a good night for streams. They're honestly my quietest night. I don't know when's a good time, you think, KBP, for better streams? I don't know. I thought maybe I should start sooner. I don't know.
Nope, none at all.
Yeah, none at all. So what I'm going to do is end it here. I'm going to cut and paste all of the good bits from tonight into YouTube videos over the next couple of days. And I'll be back on Wednesday for the regular scheduled thing. Hopefully get some people coming by saying hello. And if I still don't get anybody on Wednesday, I might change up the times, honestly. I don't know what's a good time. I'll discuss it with you later. So that's it for me tonight. I appreciate you coming in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for helping out. I'm going to have to fight with Knutch a little bit more. I think she wants to be paid more. I'll
Thanks, Waldo.
determine whether or not that's possible. And that is it for me tonight.